I've been told by a few different people that this song reads very differently with context. And normally when I provide the context for this song, I cry a lot, so I'm going to try not...
Do it, Andrew.
It might happen during the song. You remember, because when I told you about it, I was crying the whole way. So, I wish this were wine. About 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I'm good, I'm okay, I don't need more. About 2.5 years ago, I was reading a letter in a newspaper. I thought it was the Globe, it might have been the Times, it doesn't matter. I was reading a letter in the newspaper, and it was written by a guy who, he and his wife, who were both in their mid-30s, early to mid-30s, led very active, healthy lifestyles, and she ended up having a massive asthma attack that put her into a coma. And she was in a coma. She was in a coma for about 2 weeks before they decided that there wasn't anything that was going to change, so they unplugged her. And the letter, thank you. So the letter that he wrote was primarily to thank the hospital staff for how they had treated him and his family and his wife during that time. I'm going to look at my cup because it helps. And so on the last day when they were gonna unplug her, they were gonna unplug her at 5 o'clock, and a lot of friends and family came to visit during that day to say goodbye. But for the last hour, they kicked everyone out so that he could spend that hour by himself with his wife. And the nurses, when it got to 4 o'clock, the nurses asked him if he could leave the room for a minute, so he left the room for a minute. And when they told him that he could come back in, they had moved her on the bed so that he could lie next to her. Right. So, what I did was I read that. I found it a few weeks before I read it, and I was like, oh no, this is going to make me cry. I'm not going to read this right now, but I bookmarked it. So, because writers are insane and normal people. And so a few weeks later, I was like, yeah, I got time to cry. I opened it and I read it in the living room of my old apartment, which was a 6-bedroom, 2-floor apartment. Not that you needed to know that. I read it in the living room, cried a lot, moved up to my room, read it again, cried some more, and then wrote this song and cried for the duration of the time I wrote the song. It was very cathartic. So now that you know the context, this song is called Drift Away.
Fuck you.
I hope you're comfortable, my dear. I know the bed's a bit small for both of us to be here, but I'm as tired as I've ever been, and all I want is to lay with you again. So I'll hold you tight, and I'll hold you close as we drift away. We drift away, my love. We both drift off to sleep. This room is cold, unlike our own. There's no photos on the walls, no trace of the life we've known. But if I close my eyes, it's like any other night. You're just sleeping and everything's alright. So I'll hold you tight and I'll hold you close as we drift away. We drift away, my love. We both drift off to sleep. The nurses say we've an hour, my dear, an hour to live every promise here. 60 minutes, such a small amount, and I'm not gonna waste it. Keeping count. So I'll hold you tight, and I'll hold you close as we drift away. We drift away, my love. We drift away. We drift away, my love. We drift away. We both drift off to sleep.